What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dom Camp, guys, and I'm been up. Man, I've been up. I've pretty much been up, guys, but I'm just chilling right now, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the college football playoffs. Now, this is a topic, guys, I haven't really thought about as much as I should be. But guys, I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion on the top 4 teams. Now, many of you might agree, but many of you might also disagree. Now, here's what's going to happen. So guys, I am going to be looking through the various teams that I believe have the best chance of getting into the top 4. And I'm going to be looking at their schedule. Now, many of you are probably wondering, okay, looking at their schedule, looking at how hard it was, looking at the teams they played, and looking at the point margin that they ended up winning on, and stuff of that sort, guys. So, stay tuned for that in that sense. But, okay, here, I'm trying to look at Clemson's in a second. I'm trying to look at their football schedule, FBS schedule, it says right here. Oh, there it is, I believe. Yes, there it is. Okay, FBS schedule. And I'm going to go through all the teams that I believe have a chance in the college football playoffs, as I told you guys before. Guys, so number 1, in my opinion, is still going to remain Clemson. They absolutely smoked Miami. And guys, it's no easy task to really smoke Miami, but guys, as many of you saw last Friday, that Miami lost to Pitt. And I really believe that they aren't used to playing outside of their environment. And that's what I really noticed, is that when they went to Heinz Field, it's colder. It's not the Miami warm weather, that Miami lukewarm weather. And I noticed that about them, guys. So have to give Clemson credit. They definitely came to play in the big game, and I believe they are going to remain number 1. And I'm going to let you guys know why in a couple seconds. So here we go. Let's jump straight into it. Why Clemson, in my opinion, remains number 1? Well, you look at their schedule, and they played some pretty interesting teams. Now, I am going to name the interesting ones that I believe are the better of the teams, guys. So here we go. Let's actually run through them, guys. So here are the teams they played, and I'm going to label out the teams that I believe are tough teams to play. Here we go. The Kent State Golden Flashes, Auburn Tigers, Louisville Cardinals, Boston College Eagles, Virginia Tech Hokies, Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Syracuse Orange, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, NC State Wolfpack, Florida State Seminoles, the Citadel Bulldogs, and the South Carolina Gamecocks. And then finally, Saturday, December 2nd, they played the Miami Hurricanes and absolutely thrashed them. Now, guys, here's the only problem I have with Clemson, and that is losing to Syracuse. Syracuse, in my opinion, is a team that isn't that great. And many people would agree with me. Yes, they're not that great, and I don't know how they lost to Syracuse. Well, it's interesting to think about that, guys. The only loss on the record is to an unranked team. A team that, yes, they're average at best, but they definitely, in my opinion, aren't in the top 25, and many other people's opinions aren't in their top 25, guys. So I'm going to say that right now. That is going to play a role whether they're number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. Now, that's interesting right there, guys. That's my personal opinion, guys. So all of this is my personal opinion. I'm just letting you guys know that. So those of you who say, oh, I don't want to hear your opinion. Well, why are you on this channel if you don't want to hear my opinion? That's what I'm trying to understand. But other than that, guys, let me locate the key wins. The key wins. The Auburn Tigers, 14-6 at Clemson. So Auburn's a good team, a formidable opponent, definitely, guys. And they proved it throughout the remainder of the season until they went ahead and played Georgia, and clearly, and everybody knows what happened after that. But other than that, Auburn had a pretty good game against them, but they ended up falling to them. So that is a close matchup, and that is a good matchup because Auburn, I believe at the time, was ranked in the top 25, maybe in the top 50. Please do not correct me, guys. I'm just saying this at the top of my head, but I'm also researching the schedules, guys. So I'm letting you all know why I believe Clemson should remain number 1 at this point in the college football playoffs. They also played Virginia Tech. Now, Virginia Tech is no slouch, guys. Many people saw the Miami versus Virginia Tech game and how Miami handled them. But they were ranked, I believe, at the time. I'm not sure if they were or were not, but I believe they were ranked at the time. See, that's what I wish. I wish this NFBS schedule thing located rankings not that time. That would make sense. And I already talked about the Syracuse Orange, guys, when they lost by 3, 27-24 in Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Another opponents, really? Florida State, they're not that great this year due to the fact that, of course, Francois went down in the first game of the season against Alabama, I believe it was. I'm not sure. Please do not correct me. I believe it was against Alabama he went down at that point, guys. So pretty interesting. Florida State, they're an average opponent at best, in my opinion. If they played South Carolina, they're average as well. Georgia Tech, most years, is pretty good. But, guys, when I look at their schedule, I don't really see a stacked schedule. Played Louisville. They played Lamar Jackson and his Cardinals. But, guys, and the only reason I put them at number 1 is because they beat a team in Miami as well as Auburn at the beginning of the season in a interesting matchup, in a close matchup against Auburn, but absolutely blew out on the grand stage of things in the ACC championship game against Miami. So have to give them credit there. Now, guys, that's why I believe Clemson is number 1. I'm so tired. I'm sorry, guys. Clemson is number 1 in this thing right here. Now, what I'm going to do is go to my number 2 team that I believe should be number 1. But, guys, I might change my mind. And if I look at their schedule and see something that I never saw in the Clemson game or the Clemson schedule. Okay, here we go, guys. Ooh, okay. Okay, hold up. Okay. This is what I'm going to say, guys. I might change my number 1. I actually might change my number 1. And the reason I say this is because of this. I am going to run down through the Oklahoma Sooners schedule, okay? I'm running down through it. And the team names that you hear, most of them are big. Most of them aren't that big. But, of course, many people say the Big 12, they don't play defense in it. But, no, is it that? Or is it that the offenses in the Big 12 are so powerhouse, it's so powerful? So, this is interesting. Let's jump into it. Here's the Oklahoma Sooners football schedule. They finished 11-1, 8-1 in the Big 12. So, I believe they only lost, yes, they only lost a Big 12 game. Oh, but they're out of conference opponents. Oh, baby. Listen to this. So, UTEP Miners, Ohio State Buckeyes, the Tulane Green Wave, the Baylor Bears, Iowa State Cyclones, Texas Longhorns, Kansas State Wildcats, Texas Tech Red Raiders, Oklahoma State Cowboys, TCU Horned Frogs, Kansas Jayhawks, West Virginia Mountaineers, and then in the Big 12 championship game, which they won, by the way, TCU Horned Frogs. Now, guys, the only mark I have on Oklahoma that is a little bit suspect and might change their ranking from 3 maybe to 4 is this. Is that when they played Iowa State, they played, I believe, in Iowa State. Oh, they didn't actually. Here, let's see. No. My apologies. They played at home against Iowa State and lost 38-31. Now, that is interesting. Yes, it's a close game. It's in the Big 12, and the Big 12 have high-powered offenses. Many sports analysts say that they don't have any defense in the Big 12, but I highly doubt that. Other than that, though, guys, here we go. So, this is interesting because when I look at the mark on their schedule, it's Iowa State. That is the only mark I see. But then again, think about it, guys. Clemson lost to Syracuse. And who's better, Syracuse or Iowa State? Really think about it, Iowa State. Now, if we really think about this in a perspective where it's hard to judge, but we're going to go by how many points a team scored in their championship game for their conference championship game, then we would say Clemson at number 1. But in my opinion, I believe Oklahoma should be number 1. Who was a big factor on the Clemson schedule? Auburn. Pretty much Auburn. Then they played Miami in the championship game. But Miami was number 7 or 8 at the time, I believe. So that's interesting to see that. But other than that, guys, I'm looking at their schedule, and I'm trying to understand. The Ohio State Buckeyes, oh yeah, by the way, they beat them in Columbus. So when the representatives tomorrow look at schedules, strength of schedule, stuff like that, and I believe, this is my opinion, I believe they will put Oklahoma at number 1. The reason I say this is because they beat an Ohio State Buckeyes team in their stadium. And Baker Mayfield, as everybody knows, planted the flag in the middle of the horseshoe. Now, of course, planting a flag in the middle of the horseshoe doesn't really matter. But what matters is that they beat them on their home turf, on their home turf in Ohio. And then I look and look and look. I see Iowa State, as I told you guys before. A hard team on the schedule was Ohio State. And then we keep on going. Oklahoma State, another hard team on the schedule, was ranked at the time. 62-52, final score in that one. So that was a high-scoring affair. And I think the representatives and the committee will put the score lines in check. Because if you're scoring 62 points and letting 52 points on the defensive side, that's a problem in my opinion. But other than that, hey, that's just me. I'm not a sports analyst or anything. I'm just a person who's talking about his opinion. Another team on the schedule, TCU, Horned Frogs. And then TCU, Horned Frogs, again in the Big 12 Championship. So I'm going to say this, guys. Looking at the strength of the schedule, yes, they lost to Iowa State. But Clemson lost to Syracuse. So if we really think about this, guys, I believe Oklahoma is number 1, Clemson's number 2. This is what I'm seeing right now. Now, number 3 and 4 might shock you guys. Please don't be shocked. Please don't be afraid. This is my opinion. Please don't try to kill me in the comment section down below because of my opinion, okay? I'm saying this right now. This is my opinion. Okay. So they played TCU twice. And this, guys, analysts were saying this, that TCU has one of the best defenses in the country. How can you say that with a team coming out the Big 12? See, because they see something that most analysts don't see. The people see something that most analysts don't see. So you play one of the top defenses in the country. They change zones, they change coverages, stuff like that. And TCU twice, and you beat them twice. Come on now, man. Come on. And Oklahoma, in my opinion, is number 1. Clemson's number 2 right now. Now, I might bump them back a little bit. I might. With the next 2 teams. Okay? So let's jump into it. So at this point, guys, in Oklahoma, now that I've actually looked at their schedule and who the teams they played against twice was, as well as, of course, playing against Oklahoma State and playing against Ohio State, by the way. So have to give them credit there. Strength of schedule, it counts, it matters, and that's what the committee is going to be talking about tomorrow as well. So I believe Oklahoma's number 1. Clemson's number 2 at this point. But my 3 and 4, guys. Geez, I hope I'm not offending a couple people, but I'm going to leave somebody out, that's for sure. Whether it's Alabama or Ohio State, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to keep on going through this, guys. So far, we have the 2 schedules. Now, I'm going to go with the team I believe is number 3. Now, many people, when the committee put them at number 1, many people said that's a mistake. And that is the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, you guys are probably saying, okay, Georgia Bulldogs. That makes no sense, Dom. What are you talking about, Georgia Bulldogs? And I'm going to say this. The Georgia Bulldogs, guys, are a team that, yes, they lost to Auburn. Yes, but they redeemed themselves. And the reason I say they redeemed themselves, and I have them at number 3 instead of number 2, is because Clemson is so overpowered that it's almost impossible to stop them. And if you put any other team besides either Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State in the top 4, then you are pretty much risking it. And that's why I'm glad Wisconsin lost, because now they can't make the argument about, oh, we didn't get a chance. Yes, you got your chance against Ohio State, and it just proved to you that you guys can't play in big games. Wait a second, I'm sorry about that. You can play in big games, but you can't finish in big games. And I'm going to say that right now. Wisconsin can't finish in big games. And yes, I'm going to look at their schedule too. I know they're not going to be in the college football playoffs, but yes, I'm going to look at their schedule too. Now, when I go through the Georgia Bulldogs schedule, here's what I'm going to say after. Let's start it off first. Here we go. Appalachian State Mountaineers, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Samford Bulldogs, Mississippi State Bulldogs, Tennessee Volunteers, Vanderbilt Commandeers, Missouri Tigers, oh man, Florida Gators, South Carolina Gamecocks, Auburn Tigers, Kentucky Wildcats, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and in the 2017 SEC Championship game, Auburn Tigers again. Now, man, Georgia can make a strong claim for number 2, but I have Clemson there, locked in the spot. I have Oklahoma number 1, Clemson number 2, locked in. Those won't change. But guys, here is what the only mark I see on the record is against Auburn when they played Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Alabama. Now, they lost 40-17, but what can you say? What can you say that'll change the committee's mind about losing to an Auburn team who they played in the SEC Championship and beat? What can you say about that? Well, when we really think about it, guys, and as I told you, only mark I see on the schedule is Auburn. Auburn's a good team. So, and I believe the committee's not going to hold that against them. The reason I say they're not going to hold that against them is because Auburn, as I told you, is a good team. This is a team that could have easily gotten in the top 4 if Georgia would have lost tonight. But Auburn fell short and Georgia won. So this is why I have Georgia at number 3 due to the fact that, of course, their schedule is strong and they won most of the games that mattered. So I am going through Notre Dame 20-19 victory, Mississippi State 31-3, and guys, this is the same Mississippi State team that played who and beat them? Wait, no. I shouldn't have said that. This is the same Mississippi State team that played Alabama and lost on the final play. So Mississippi State has a claim, a strong team, but they lost 31-3 against a team in Georgia. So yeah. Vanderbilt, not really that great. Missouri, not great. Florida, not great this year, clearly, because they had to find a new coach. And then Auburn, 40-17. And then they played Auburn again, but this time they actually won when it mattered most. Guys, I'm telling you this right now, Georgia is my number 3. Number 1, Oklahoma. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Georgia. Now there's only one more spot, and it's a fight between Alabama and Ohio State. This is tough to say. Because it's tough because I am going to look at both of their schedules, guys, okay? And by the way, in Alabama, they didn't play in a title game. So that is going to be their mark on their little exclusion. Let's say that is going to be their mark if they don't make it. And now Nick Saban, he's coming out. He's like, oh, well, it shouldn't matter if you play in a championship game. Yes, it matters. It matters, especially if you're the team who lost to Auburn and you are trying to make a claim. Well, guys, we're going to look at both their schedules. And in my opinion, right now, I am going to say, and actually, I'm not going to say who the final team is yet. I am going to look at their schedules, and then I'm going to decide. You guys, let me know who you think should be number 4 or your top 4. Clearly, not Wisconsin is not in there, and clearly they lost and they couldn't make it count in the big game. Undefeated the whole season because they had a weak schedule. I'm going to say that right now. If you're a Wisconsin fan, I'm sorry, but ask your athletic director to make a stronger schedule next season and actually play teams that are tougher. Because, yes, undefeated record, great. But if you can't beat Ohio State on the grand stage of things, you're not making the top 4. I'm sorry. Ohio State Buckeyes. Okay, football schedule. Let's see. So they beat Wisconsin clearly, but they have a 2-loss team. I forgot that Ohio State is a 2-loss team. Now, I forgot about that. Now, this is going to make it interesting. Guys, I'm going to run through the names once again, let you guys know what's going on. Here we go. Here's the Ohio State Buckeyes schedule for the 2017 season. Indiana Hoosiers, Oklahoma Sooners, Army Black Knights, UNLV Rebels, Rutgers Scarlet Knights, Maryland Terrapins, Nebraska Cornhuskers, Penn State Nittany Lions, Iowa Hawkeyes, Michigan State Spartans, Illinois Fighting Illini. Wow, I probably screwed that up, sorry. Michigan Wolverines, and of course Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. Now, guys, the marks I see on their record, this isn't even a mark due to the fact that I have Oklahoma at number 1, and that is the loss to Oklahoma on their home field. Now I don't really label that a mark because Oklahoma, then in my opinion, should be either number 1 or number 2. That is my opinion, and if you have a complaint about it or an argument about it, let me know in the comment section down below right now. If you guys think my top 4 is wrong or out of order, let me know. I am down for opinions. Of course, it's constructive opinions. Not, oh, you can suck, dude. This is terrible. It's terrible. No, I'm not. This is not the channel for that stuff, so please don't leave rude comments or rude things of that sort because, guys, I'm just not going to read it. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to get rid of your comment, and I'm going to report you. Guys, please. Thank you. Okay. So the only mark on their record is against Iowa Hawkeyes in Iowa City, Iowa. Yeah, 55-24, that is going to be a mark on the record. That is definitely going to be what the committee looks at. But, guys, they say the best 4 teams. So if Ohio State is 10-2, I don't know. It's going to be tough to make a claim for Ohio State. But if you look at the other teams in their schedule and strength of schedule, guys, Oklahoma, yes, they lost you, I understand. Penn State, Michigan State, of course, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So I'm going to say this right now. If I see anything in Alabama's schedule that stands out more besides the record and Nick Saban at the helm, then I'm going to let you guys know right now. I'm going to let you guys know. But it's not looking good for Ohio State. Yes, they knocked off an undefeated team by 6 points. So if they would have made a statement and blew out Wisconsin, then I believe they would be my number 4. But, guys, I'm leaning towards Alabama. I'm sorry. I'm definitely leaning towards Alabama at this point. But wait a second. Finally, looking at Alabama's schedule, and I'm going to make my final decision. But, guys, I'm telling you right now that I'm leaning towards Alabama due to the fact that they, guys, lost only to Auburn. And that's a team that's very good. So here we go. Looking at Alabama's schedule. Here we go. Ready, set, go. Alabama football schedule. Here are the teams they played throughout the season, and they made statements. They definitely made statements. Oh, okay. Wait a second. Let's see. Let's see something real quick. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's right. Okay. Here we go. Here's what is going to happen. So Alabama's schedule is like this. Florida State Seminoles to start off the season, and that was when they had Francois, and then he got injured. Fresno State Bulldogs, Colorado State Rams. Wow, he actually played them tough. That's interesting. Vanderbilt Commandeers. Okay. Ole Miss Rebels, Texas A&M Aggies, Arkansas Razorbacks, Tennessee Volunteers, LSU Tigers, Mississippi State, Mercer Bears, Auburn. Okay, guys, this is probably the toughest decision I've ever had to make on a podcasting channel. But here's what is going to happen, okay? The only blemish I see on the record is Auburn. Now, Auburn, guys, Auburn is a team that is a top 10 team. And Auburn is a good team. But, of course, it all depends on where Auburn's playing. Now, you can't hold that against Alabama. The reason I say you can't hold it against Alabama is due to the fact that if it's the top 4 best teams in the nation, then Alabama is at my number 4. Yes, Ohio State had a little bit of a tougher schedule in my opinion, but they lost to Iowa. Okay? And they lost to Oklahoma. But yes, Oklahoma's another good team. So, see, each of these teams has a blemish from a big team. Auburn, very good team. And it all depends on where they're playing. Jordan-Hare Stadium, yep, that's where they played, and they beat Alabama. But it all depends. Same with Miami and teams like that. Playing at home, oh yeah, it's easy to win at home. But it's when you go to Heinz Field and play Pitt, a team that's not really caring. It's senior night. It's their last game, and they beat you. So it just goes to show home field advantage is a thing right there, guys. Letting you guys know that right now. But, guys, the only blemish I really see on the record, on Alabama's record, is Auburn. And Auburn is a good team. Many of you, I say, oh, they lost to Georgia, but they also beat Georgia, and they beat Alabama. So I don't want to hear, oh, they're a bad team. Yes, they beat Georgia and they beat Alabama, but they lost to Georgia in the game when it counted. Guys, this is interesting. So, guys, I have Alabama at number 4. And you look at their strength of schedule, here are the teams that stand out in my opinion. Florida State, LSU, and Mississippi State. Oh, yeah, and Auburn. So, this is interesting, guys. It's interesting to think about the top 4. So, I'm going to go back again and speak on the top 4. Number 1, Oklahoma Sooners. Number 2 is going to be Clemson Tigers. Number 3, we're going to have, wow, how is my mind drawing a blank? I literally went over this already. Oh, yeah. No, okay. Okay, hold up, guys, hold up. My mind is literally drawing a blank. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm trying to record this for you guys before you guys actually see what the committee actually picks, and I want to be the first one to get it right. Straight up. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, focus. Okay, I got it. Number 1, Oklahoma Sooners. Number 2, Georgia Bulldogs. No, what the Number 2, Clemson. I'm sorry, guys. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Georgia Bulldogs. And number 4, Alabama. Those are the top 4, the best 4 you can put in one sitting. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comment section down below. I respect everybody's opinion, and I hope you respect mine. One more time, Oklahoma, number 1. Number 2 is going to be Clemson. Number 3, Georgia. And number 4, Alabama. Those are my top 4 teams. If you don't like it, well, let me know in the comment section down below. And who do you believe should get in ahead of one of these teams? Because what I'm looking at right now, guys, is a team in Alabama. They didn't get a chance to prove themselves in the SEC championship game. But, guys, that is you guys' fault. That's Alabama's fault. But just remember, the strength of schedule counts. The record counts. Who they won, who they lost to. Big games count as well. Close games count as well, guys. So just remember that when you're putting your top 4 together. But other than that, I'm going to end it there, guys. 27 minutes. My goodness gracious. I talked for that long. I'm impressed. But those of you who enjoyed, please hit a thumbs up on it and subscribe if you're new for more podcasts like this. Those of you who want to hear more podcasts, guys, they're all over my channel. Go ahead and check them out. I have various ones. Soccer, basketball, football, NFL, college. It doesn't matter. Let me know how you guys feel about my channel. If you think I should improve things, if you think I should do more research, stuff like that, that would be much appreciated to grow this channel. I'm going for 25 subscribers, guys. It would be much appreciated if 2 of you guys who listen to this podcast, subscribe with notifications on, guys, so you all know when my uploads go live. That would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for listening. What is your top 4? One more time: Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama. That is it. Thank you for listening. And have a great day, or have a great night, or have a great evening. Peace. Wow.